Hello YouTube, this is Daniel Freeman with part 4 of my Blender Basics series, and in this part we are actually going to be doing a little bit more modeling. I know, I'm sorry I said we were done, but I forgot to put the mouth into the last video. So, I'll just show you here that I have the top fin, and I used the same method to make this top fin as I did to make the side fins, really, so that's pretty straightforward. But now we need to add the mouth. So I'm just going to select this and go into edit mode. And if you remember, I can select this entire ring of vertices by pressing Alt-click because I want to fill in this hole. And I'm going to extrude and then merge all of these vertices. So merge at center. And as you can see now, we can see the edges and we have this all filled in. Now, I could have used the face fill command, but I'll actually show you what happens if I do that. If I use the face command and then triangulate this by pressing Control-T, it makes a mess, so I don't want that. So that's why I use the merging method as opposed to doing the method of extruding and merging words. Okay, so there you go. It's extruded and merged, and it looks nice and smooth. And now I'm going to show you a new tool called the split tool. So the split tool is accessed by pressing V. It's actually really more of a shortcut than a tool, but okay. And before I do that, actually, I think this would look better and less flat if I grabbed it along the x-axis a little bit. Alright, just little minor edits. There you go. See, now it's a bit more rounded at the tip. So now that that's done, I'm going to determine where I want the mouth to be. Again, let's Google random dolphin pictures. This is what you do when you're a modeler. You just Google lots of crazy stuff. Lots of crazy stuff. Like alligator skeletons and all sorts of human arms. Lots of anatomical things. It's very fun. Alright, so is that... Yes, there it is. So to get a good idea of where we want the mouth to be. Ooh, click here for full resolution. Yes, please. No. Alright. So to get a good idea of where we want the mouth to be, let's look at some references that are not pixelated. There we go. Looks like his mouth is a little bit above the middle line. So let's see, your middle line would be about here. Okay, so I'm going to select these vertices right here. Just going to make a selection about where the mouth should be. Just like this. There we go. Now I'm going to go into my side view and just click on V. And as you can see, now it has actually separated these vertices. So it's split them. They're apart. I can drag this down and show you they're no longer attached. And I'm just going to drag this ever so slightly, not very much at all. There we go. Now you might be wondering why I didn't select this vertice. That's because with this split tool, as you can see, it actually splits the edges. So if I had split that vertice, then it would have split the edge that it was attached to, and the split would have gone all the way back here, which is too far back. So I just split these ones, and now, you know, it's a pretty nice size for a dolphin mouth, or hopefully, if any biologists can confirm that, that would be great. But there you go. That is the split mouth, and we're gonna make this look a little bit nicer. So one thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to select everything here very carefully. Just like that, making sure not to select anything from the lower portion of the mouth. Okay, and circle select is perfectly good for this purpose. Very carefully. Alright. So now that I have all of that top portion selected, let me grab it. Oh, that's why I've always got to double check. Okay, so let me grab that and make sure. Okay, good, that's now separate. I'm going to move it apart so it's a little bit easier to make some of the details of the mouth. And the reason I'm doing this is because, as you might imagine, we don't want this to be a 90-degree transition here because the mouth is a little bit rounded. So I'm making it easier just by separating them more. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these in the edge here. And maybe Alt-click will select. Okay, good. Yeah, see, Alt-click selects the top and bottom. But that might actually be okay. let's see, let me test that out. So I'm going to extrude, and we're going to start modeling some details for the inner mouth. This is one of the hardest parts for me personally in modeling, but maybe it won't be for you. So now that I've extruded, you see I have a little bit of a lip there, and I'm going to scale along the Z-axis. Just do a general scale to get a more rounded edge. Alright, and then I'm going to extrude again, scale again. Okay, seems to be coming together nicely. I'm going to actually grab this along, or scale along the Z-axis. You need to start making a little indent in there. Okay, I'm going to extrude and scale one more time. Alright, good. So now in order to try and fill in these gaps in here, it'd be much easier if I actually hid the lower portion. So this is where we start seeing the practical purpose of hiding things. So I'm just going to select all of the lower portion, just like that. And actually move it a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is just going to be so we can go inside of the mouth and start cleaning up some of the details in there. Alright, I'm probably going to fast forward through this. Okay, and we're back. I have now successfully selected and hidden the entire lower portion of the model except for these three vertices. Okay, done. And now I'm going to just start making faces in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up all these holes. Pretty straightforward. Click, 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 and done. And then we're just going to do the same thing for the lower portion after I actually fill in these. Now, ideally, you want to have four-sided figures, so that's why I'm selecting things like that. As you can see, that most of the selections I'm filling in are, in fact, four-sided. And it looks like I'm going to need to do the Control-N command again. There we go. Okay, normals were getting a little wonky. You saw the dark shadows appear there. Always good to do that. Okay, let's see if there's anything I want to do. Now, I think I'm wanting to sync this in a little bit. There's a car honking in the background there. Grab Z. There we go. Let's sync that in. Z. Some of this might be up to personal taste as well, so when you're actually modeling, you can make slight tweaks if you want to, based on how you think a dolphin should look. Especially if you're a biologist or a marine biologist and you actually know about these things, then that would be fine. Alright, and I'm just going to do the same process for the top, which you don't really need to see because I've already showed you the bottom. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and just skip ahead to the next part. Okay, well, here we have it. Let me just make the normals consistent quickly. There we go. And you can see there are some faces in here, which I will now sync down. But there is a filled in mouth. So now we have a mouth for the dolphin, and we can make it open and close like you saw in the teaser video, which I showed you where the shark kind of comes in and he snaps his mouth at the fishes. So if I press Alt-H here, we look inside, see if it's all looking good in there. And there we go. There's our dolphin mouth. These are looking a little bit weird. Wondering what these are doing. Okay, I see. So yeah, you'll have to make minor adjustments to your model sometimes. As you can see, I'm dragging these vertices backwards just because they're in a bad spot. Alright, let's see how that side view looks. There we go. There is our dolphin mouth. And one of the things I can already see is that the actual dolphin mouth has, the bottom part is a little bit bigger than the top part, so let me just go ahead and do that. Gonna select everything. Oh yeah, and if you press shift and click with the circle tool, it actually deselects. So if I press C and then shift click, it's deselecting everything under the circle instead of selecting. So that's a handy tip. Same thing applies to the box tool, or the box edit tool. So I'm just going to flatten this out and bring it backwards a little bit. There we go. Going to do, for this one, I'm actually going to make it a little bit wider. So I'm scaling along the Z axis to do that. Move it right here. Let's see how that looks. That looks a little bit better. And then one other thing that I noticed when I'm looking at the picture is that I see that a dolphin has a little bit of a grin as well. It looks like he's smiling. And this one is just it's just sort of a flat line right here. So that's another thing that I'm going to want to fix, and that hopefully you want to fix as well if you are making this model. So let's just drag this up. Actually, drag everything there up. Just drag it up. And select that and just drag it down. Same here, drag it down. And go out of this mode. There we go, he's got a little dolphin grin now. Probably going to want to actually make this look a little bit better. Now this is one of the situations where you might actually want to use this button here, the limit selection to visible, rather than pressing Z. So that way you can select things that aren't in your field of vision, but you can also actually have a better, or so you can also see how the model is looking a little bit better. Okay, so moving here. See, it's a little bit easier to see things like this than when it's completely transparent. Alright. There. Okay. Well, that is looking okay, but I think there's a few things that I'm wanting to smooth out. Yeah, when you're making models, like I guess I am being trying to be a bit of a perfectionist here, but there's oftentimes going to be lots of things that you want to go back and change after you're done. So just keep that in mind. It's not going to be, if you want to make a really nice looking model, it's not going to be a super quick process. You're going to have to kind of take your time with it. But there you go. There's our dolphin mouth. I like that. I like that look. We'll go with that. Okay. I hope that has been informative to you, and I promise you that next tutorial we are actually going to do some unwrapping, and that's going to be the basis for the texture, which we're going to do later as well. And I'm going to just go ahead and save this because it would be tragic if I lost that work now. And I'm going to show you something for any of you who are interested in making the other models in the template, the shark model and the angelfish model. I'm just going to show you those quickly and then point something out to you. So let me hide the skeleton. Oh yeah, this is the skeleton. We're going to learn animation later, and I'll show you can make rigs so it'll open and close its mouth and such. Make it move its little fin. But I'm going to hide that for now because that's not what I am going to be talking about. So let me hide it. Press 1 and 5 to see the template in the background. So you may notice that with this template, I have a little extra fin in here that's not in the template, and that's because when I drew the template, I made it more as a general reference rather than a biologist's model of the full anatomy of the angelfish. Same goes with the shark. The template is not a full anatomical model. So when you're using these templates, a good assignment for you to do to help you practice making your own templates and to help you practice being able to see something in a picture and replicate it in 3D is to practice, looking at these templates and looking at a picture of the real thing and then trying to modify the template to look more like the real thing. And you can see there's an extra fin that you'll need to add. And, maybe you'll make a few tweaks to the shape if you want to, but that's something to bear in mind. And with the shark, it's the same. I'll show you. There's our shark. There's my shark model. And as you can see, this shark model has a few extra fins, like this one and this one, that this picture doesn't have. And that's because this is just a very generic shark, but you can make this shark any type you want. Great white, black tip, which is this shark. And if you are wanting to make anything off of this template like the shark, then again, just look at pictures of the actual thing and add in details where you need to modify the shape a little bit if you need to. And that'll be very good practice for making your own custom models in the future. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have learned from this, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.